partly political, partly historical, and unfortunately there are no Go players or no Go programmers here, but nevertheless you may tell them when you see them what they missed. My content is, or my main message is, computer-aided gameplay can help for the computer play and for the human play, so for both sides. And the main parts are, I will speak on pioneers in computer-assisted chess, then go to pioneers in computer-assisted Go. I have a wish list for Go software for the use in computer-aided play, and I have a provocative thesis at the end. Let's start with the pioneers in computer-assisted chess. You know that young man, Garry Kasparov? I think early in 1986 he had just become world champion, and he used some special device, namely a database system on a computer, made available by the company ChessBase. This is the software guru of ChessBase, Matthias Bullenweber, also one of the two co-founders of the company. Yes, listening to the proposals of Kasparov and Kasparov vice versa, listening to his technical explanations. And there's one more screen. Say on one of the disks they had this floppy disk called Garry app, made for application by Garry Kasparov. Okay, completely different part of the chess world, correspondence chess. Heinrich Burger from East Germany was one of the most colorful figures there. And in 1988 he had already an office using chess computers for his correspondence games. You know those by the Mephisto company? They looked almost identical, but this is MM4, Roma 2, Rebel 5 by different programmers. And in his office these three engines were running all around the clock, and he used their output for his analysis in the correspondence games. His most impressive result was when he played for East Germany in the Correspondence Chess Olympiad, which started in '87 with the pre-groups and finished with the finals in '95. And he played Burger on board 1 of East Germany and made 7 out of 9, which is impressive. So 4 draws and 5 wins on the first board, and East Germany almost managed to win the gold medal. But the problem was his 5 colleagues, they were not supported by computers, at least not in the first years of that event. You see England and East Germany runner-up, GSSR, Poland, West Germany. On rank 10, the Netherlands, they had the final rank in the final group, but in total more than 40 teams. So when you would have such a team championship now, the Netherlands would end in the top 3 or 4, I think, because they are also very good in using computers. Mention just Japan Osterrom as one of the Dutch pioneers. Yes, then myself, I had the idea to use 2 different chess computers, the first 2 brains, and 1 human, the third brain, to play chess. And Dryhen works, a German term for triple brain. The computers make their proposals and the human has the final choice. And the special point was I never overvoted the computers, only selecting her move or her move. And when they had identical candidates, I had to play that. And the finding in many decades was I got 200 rating points plus over the level of the computers themselves. So in the final experiment in 97 I was a 1900 player, the computers were 2500 and the Dryhen was 2700 plus something. Within this development, I had always asked the programmers, please include a k-best mode. So not only the best move is computed, but the k-best moves, according to the mind of the machine. And here's an example with 4-best, iterative deepening. So for search depth 8, the first two candidates are computed, and the next, which are in gray, are still under consideration. Others, many others, Kras and Schröber, prefers to realize k-best mode. Eiko Bleicher, who designed an endgame freezer to solve endgames perfectly with more than 7 pieces by fixing some of the pieces, and yes, many others. I come to a more difficult situation, computer-assisted Go. The point is, programs have become strong only after the Monte Carlo revolution, so after 2006. And one of the pioneers is Thomas Redeker, a German amateur player. He looked at a very difficult problem from a traditional collection of problems. Ingo Hatsuyoron, and number 120 is very difficult. It's this position without Komi, and the task is to show black to move and win. And Redeker claims that black has a win by a margin of 3 points. So he wrote a full, complete book on his way to solve this problem. And one of his technical helpers was the program Many Faces of Go by David Scotland. And he used it with a technique called Komi fan. I will explain later what a Komi fan is. Thomas Redeker, in play as a normal Go player, he had been a 2-dan some days in the 1990s, but then he went down to a 1. Yes, he had almost been a 3-dan, but now he's a 1-2 player. And he claims that his analysis of this Ingo Hatsuyoron problem is better than any of the professional work on that. Another guy, some of you remember him from the talk in Kanazawa in 2010, Darren Cook. Some know him by some other events. He had an account on an internet Go server, or game server, anonymous SM9. Nobody knew what or who SM9 was. And it was Darren Cook, helped by computer, playing only 9x9 Go. And you see, he started almost poorly when the computers were weak, and then he climbed up the rating. These plus values means 5-dan or something like 5-dan. Yes, and for some years he really dominated the scene on the 9x9 mode. In Kanazawa he presented his long-term experiment and the findings, and after that he stopped playing. So the account is still there, but no longer, almost no longer active. The third person is in some sense the most secretive one, a German player starting in 2010, and he's living on an island, Sylt, the most famous German island in the North Sea. They do not have a Go club there. He is completely on his own, but he's playing very successful also on Little Golem, for some years 9x9 Go, and then switching to the large boards. And he told me that he uses the bots Zen, Crazy Stone, Pachi, and even some more in analyzing the positions. Surprise, he was active in normal tournament play in 2009 and then once more in 2013, and he's a 4Q or 5Q player. So not really impressive. But on Little Golem, he is the highest rated human. His account is his name. It's now 9.5 Dan. And there's only one entity above, that is Valkyria, the Swedish Go program playing only 9x9. And they all are in one rating list. So it starts with Valkyria, which plays only 9x9, and then comes Gerhard with his play for the large board. And he's dominating the scene, yes, fantastically. This is the current championship there. You see it started in September 2015 and it's not finished yet. There are still a few games open, but it's more or less clear that Gerhard will win again. The others cannot get him. The other 14-point player is finished already, and he has the better Sonneborn-Berger rating, so he will win that. What you should know on Little Golem, players have in average 36 hours for each move. In Jena we did one experiment mixing Crazy Stone in the analysis mode and a crazy human, Manja Marz, professor for bioinformatics, and she's also the second strongest German woman in Go. So what did we do? She was sitting in front of the analysis screen, Crazy Stone running in infinite mode, and here you have the list of candidates. Rank 1 is this move, so far 62,000 playouts, the probability for black win 0.48 and so on. And so Manja sees this list all the time and then makes a decision which move to play. She also sees this histogram which shows the distribution for the playouts. And that were the playing conditions. In that game our opponent was a 5 Dan from Hamburg. Manja was in my office. Unfortunately that day the kindergarten was closed due to strike. So her little daughter was with her. Ingo, do you have something to play for her? Yes, we had some Lego bricks, no problem. So Manja sitting in front of the KGS screen, the analysis screen I was operating, the doll of little daughter, yes, the little daughter playing, and the guy in Hamburg thought that we had normal playing conditions, so he was unhappy in a double way when he saw this picture. And you beat me. Yes, we beat him. I come to the third part, the wish, the partial wish list for Go software. Komi fan, I told you that I would explain that. Monte Carlo tree search has one disadvantage. It does not show white will win by this margin, but it will say white will win this with this probability. And so what you do, you repeat searches for different values of Komi. And these are the percents of win for black. And when Komi increases, this winning probability decreases, and you look for those values which are nearest to 50%. And that should be the expected outcome when both sides play perfectly for the single points. And at the moment you have to operate the program, enter a new Komi value, which is more or less cumbersome, then start the analysis again, enter a new Komi value, and so on. And what I would like to have, one key, Komi fan, and then this shows up within a minute or so. Semi-eye detection. sometimes there are these races simply recognized by humans, sometimes they are difficult to identify them, and this is a position from round 4 of Lise Dole versus Althöfer. And you see, the histogram here is not a normal bell shape, but you have some side maximum. And that indicates there is some local fight going on. And depending on the outcome of that fight, either black has an edge or not. And Crazy Stone is showing this. What I would like to have, that in addition on the board, it is localized where the local fight is going on. There was some work by Lars Schäfers and Tobias Graf in 2013 presented in Yokohama, but it's not in the commercial programs. Of course, I want to have a K-best mode. You may say, you have it already in this long list, but you see the point here. The first candidate had more than 1 million playouts, and the next one only 64,000. Although the scores are not so different. So what I would like to have, a more balanced distribution of the playouts on different candidates. And the proposal concretely is a K-spread rule. So do not decide for the next single playout where to make it, but decide for the next K playouts and spread them on K different candidates move. And that will guarantee each candidate here get at most 1 divided by K of the total number of playouts. Okay, some more wishes to include engines by other programmers in your interface, or to use multiple engines simultaneously, which is a certain problem in the memory intense Monte Carlo programs. It might help to have a quick switch between rules, say Japanese rules and Chinese rules, to get an idea if there is a big difference in that position. And one experience, mainly from computer-assisted chess, when programmers or companies will provide features, the users will adopt quickly to the interesting ones, and they even will come back with proposals how to further enhance these features. So, my provocative part now. When you remember the first part of the talk, there was Garry Kasparov, and there was Matthias Willenweber from the Chess-Base company. But some, the oldest of us, remember, when you think of Chess-Base, who is the face of Chess-Base?
Who is the oldest face? That is Friedel.
Friedel.
Yes.
Friedel. You all know Friedel?
Friedel.
No, but Frederick Friedel. He's always there.
Yes.
When you have the possibility to make money or to connections with famous, Friedel is there. Some say he's not the nicest guy, but he did really a big contribution to Chess-Base and to computer chess in general. I will show you. This was the early software in '86. And here you see a picture. Der Spiegel is the leading German news magazine. Kasparov on the right, 3 writers of Der Spiegel. No, not Kasparov.
No, yes,
Kasparov in the
yes,
center.
yes.
And this is Friedel.
Yes.
And
Kasparov is behind, is next to him, eh?
what is it?
I told you.
Yes, Kasparov is
to him.
next.
Yes.
And this is a screen from the back where Chess-Base program. The company wasn't even there when this picture was made, but the software was there already. And Friedel had all these fantastic connections to the strong players and to the media. This is another photo from Friedel's home. You see this young guy, not a refugee from Syria, but that is Vishy Anand. He had just become the junior world champion, and yes, he was also introduced to the Chess-Base software. The son of Friedel, yes. And not only Kasparov and Anand, but many famous people were friends or acquaintances of Friedel. And it started much earlier. In 1980, you see Friedel operating a Sargon II, and this is Nigel Short. With the blind, he's playing blindfold. Then John Nunn, famous for his endgame books and also for his analysis of endgames. They also tried with Karpov, but it turned out he was not able to operate a computer, so that was only a short episode. Then Anand again in 93, together with Judith Polgar, being the guest of Friedel. And you know these nice brothers? The Klitschkos, the boxers. So they are also clever, they know how to play chess on amateur level. And yes, Friedel, they know about chess, I invite them, make our commercial success. And now, what is Ingo? Do they have a related or a similar company? Unfortunately not. Crazy Stones is marketed by Unbalance, a normal gaming software company in Japan, and Crazy Stone is only the fifth wheel on their wagon. Zen Distributor also has other main duties, and Zen is also only on the back burner. Yes, they miss a Friedel, and what they also miss, a Friedel having connections to professional players for their PR work. And I several times said it's a problem that Go is not a game of the Western world. Yes, the small Western market makes it impossible to start a commercial success, say in Europe or in the US. You have to start in Asia. We need a Go-based company. Please help me with that. Thank you.
Okay, let's start the discussion.
Ingo, try typing gobase.org in your browser.
Pardon, what?
There's gobase.org.
They have one? Over there.
There's a website, gobase.org.
Yes, the point is, it's not the name what is important, it's the company with the message and with the way to work.
Yeah, it's run by my former colleague, and he
Yes.
doesn't have donations to the pros.
Right.
But Ingo, you are connected. Aren't you?
My problem is, I'm not from the Eastern world. So, you might be a better candidate.
I'm looking for the Mr. Kato. He's a good connection.
Hideki, yes, but he is also not a businessman. He might be a good one for the software side, but nevertheless he would need some Frederick Friedel. Maybe the Asian culture forbids people to behave like Frederick Friedel, but you would need one. Maybe when I can take
I'm
you...
not a businessman.
Yes, but when I can take you to Jena for 2 years, I make you a businessman.
Okay. Impossible. Anyway, any other question? Especially from
So please spread the message to all who might help in creating such a company like Chessbase for Go. Thank you.
Someone. Okay. Any other questions or comments? If not, we thank you again.